All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're cutting through all the AI hype to look at something that's way more challenging, but also way more important. How do you actually make AI work at the scale of a massive global company? We're going to break down a blueprint for moving AI from just a shiny new toy into a core everyday business function.
And this quote right here, it just gets straight to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? It's one thing for a company to say they have an AI strategy, but it's a completely different ballgame to build a system that allows, say, 150,000 employees to actually use it effectively, every single day. This is the challenge pretty much every large company is staring down right now.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with the paradox of why so many good AI strategies fail. Then we'll walk through the blueprint designed to fix that. We'll see how that blueprint came to life with a global network, measure its actual impact, and finally, get to know the architect behind this whole system.
Okay, let's dive into this first part. The thing you've got to understand is that when enterprise AI fails, it's almost never a problem with the technology itself. Nope, the failure is almost always one of implementation.
The real roadblocks are human. The source material calls this behavioral inertia, which is just a fancy way of saying that huge organizations naturally resist change, even when a great idea comes along. This creates what's called an adoption paradox. You have the strategy, but no real system to make it happen. And that leads to cultural stagnation, where amazing tools get rolled out but just end up in silos, collecting digital dust. And crucially, this is a big one, the feedback loop between the people using the tools and the teams building them just breaks. And that means any early wins fizzle out really fast.
So how do you solve a human problem? Well, it's not with better code. It's with a better system. And that brings us to the solution at the very heart of this explainer, a concept called systemic orchestration. Systemic orchestration is really all about focusing on the system first. Think of it as a leadership philosophy. It's designed to build a solid bridge between what the CEO wants to do with AI and what an engineer on the ground is actually doing day to day. It's not about the tool, it's about building the whole environment where AI can actually grow and thrive. So this blueprint is built on three key pillars. First, that systems first focus we just talked about. Second is something called the last mile framework. And this is all about taking AI out of the lab and turning it into a secure, reliable tool that actually makes the company money. And third, and this is kind of the secret sauce, dual motion advocacy. Think of it like a pincer movement for change. You get the top-down support from executives giving the official green light, and you combine that with this unstoppable bottom-up momentum from peers who make adopting AI feel normal and, even exciting.
Okay, let's really dig into that bottom-up motion because this is where the blueprint truly comes to life. It's a powerful mix of people and process called the Global Champion Network.
And the growth was just explosive. The network scaled from only 61 champions to over 260 in just 5 months. This wasn't some slow, top-down, mandated rollout. No way. This was a movement that caught fire because it was providing real value to real people. Now, what's really fascinating here is the diversity. We're talking 16 countries, sure, but more importantly, 13 different job roles. These champions weren't just developers. They were from sales, from HR, from finance, from operations, and this is so crucial because it positions AI as a universal tool for the entire company, not just some niche gadget for the tech department.
In this slide, it just brilliantly lays out the clever structure behind the network. The big insight here is how it solves that one-size-fits-all problem that plagues most corporate rollouts. Tier 1 handles the broad awareness. Tier 2 gets champions together to solve specific business problems. And Tier 3 empowers local teams to drive their own adoption. It's designed to be both global and local at the exact same time. It's pretty smart.
But hey, a great blueprint is meaningless without results, right? It's just paper. So let's look at the incredible impact this system actually had in its very first year.
In its first year alone, the program reached a staggering 54% of Oracle's global workforce. That's tens of thousands of employees. That right there proves this model could achieve true enterprise scale.
And maybe, even more strategically, the program achieved 100% coverage across Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI, which is the very backbone of the company's cloud business. By proving the model could work in this super technical, mission-critical division, it created an undeniable template for success for everyone else.
But look, success isn't just about reach. It's about deep engagement. The program's North Star metric is a really ambitious one, 80% weekly active usage. The goal isn't just to get people to try AI once, it's to make it an indispensable weekly habit.
This slide shows the strategic shift perfectly. The program is moving away from just showing off features or one-off experiments. The future is all about in-flow adoption, where AI is seamlessly embedded into the tools people already use every single day. It's about building real, sustained habits and empowering the community to create and share their own solutions.
You know, a system this effective, this complex, it doesn't just happen by accident. It has to be intentionally designed. It needs an architect.
And that architect is Max Xiao. He's the orchestrator who designed and executed this entire AI Champions program. And his profile really shows the different kinds of leadership you need to make a system like this work. First, an orchestrator has to be a builder, someone who really understands the problems on the ground. Max showed this by creating something called Happy On Call, an AI engine that actually cut the operational workload by 10%. This is that hands-on skill you need to solve those last-mile adoption problems we talked about earlier.
And finally, an orchestrator has to be a cultural steward. In a role they nicknamed the hiring bartender, Max was in charge of protecting the organization's high-talent bar. It's a powerful reminder that even the best systems-first approach relies on having the absolute best people to run it. That's a huge part of building a sustainable culture of innovation.
This analogy from the source material just sums it all up perfectly. You can't just stop the business to innovate, right? You need a system to upgrade the tracks, train the conductors, and connect all the stations, all while the trains are moving at full speed. That, right there, is the essence of AI orchestration.
Which leaves us with this one final thought. You know, it's easy to have a strategy. It's easy to have a buzzword, a slide deck. But as we've seen today, that's just not enough. The real question is, does your organization have an operating system to actually bring that strategy to life?